Hello YouTube, this is Obsessed with Videos here, and this is my multimedia update of the 27th of December 2020. In this update, I'm going to be showing the rest of the films I got from high school, in which I've got about 12 DVDs left from them, and also 12 of my Christmas presents in this update. I'll be showing the rest in the next of the Christmas presents I got in the next update. So the ones I'm showing in this update, in terms of my Christmas presents, are 11 standard Blu-rays and 1 3D Blu-ray, and the rest from high school are all DVDs. So let's get started. The first one is Deck the Halls, which is a bootleg copy. This is a film released by 20th Century Fox and Regency, and it was released in 2006. And apparently the bottom part of the back cover has the kind of stuff that Disney used to use, which is coincidental because Disney own Fox right now, or as they call it now, 20th Century Studios, and with the U rating it says suitable only for 12 years and over. A lot of bootlegs had this kind of stuff back in the day. There might still be some bootlegs going around. Another person on YouTube that I know buys a lot of these types of DVDs is Ryan the Movie Fan. So, and I do watch a lot of his openings to his bootleg DVDs, and it's interesting to see what the films were like at the cinema when they were initially released. I think that Ryan the Movie Fan has also uploaded the opening to a bootleg copy of Deck the Halls, so it was on his channel. And here's the disc itself. By the way, Deck the Halls also stars Danny DeVito and Matthew Broderick. There glows the neighbourhood. The other 11 are all standard genuine copies, in which the first one is Too Fast, Too Furious, the second film in the Fast and Furious franchise from Universal. This is a reissue from 2011, probably to coincide with Fast and Furious 5, because that was released in 2011 as well. The disc inside is the original disc from 2003. I also used to have this film on VHS back in 2015. Next one is Mission Impossible 3 on Paramount. This is the original release from 2006 with the original case. I used to have this film on DVD with the 2011 cover back in like December 2017. But now my brother's got the film as part of the Mission Impossible 5 disc box set, which he got in January 2019. So now once again I have the film on both DVD and Blu-ray. And but it's not just me, it's this household, which includes me and my brother. My brother has it on Blu-ray as part of the box set. I have it on DVD once again. So, and here's the disc itself. This is the exact same disc that I used to have before, except the cover was different, but I think the disc is possibly the same. I'm sure it is the same, because that's all the stuff that was on the original disc. And this is the original release. Next one is Men in Black 2 with Mr. Jones and Mr. Smith. The intergalactic double disc set. I've also got this film on 4K Blu-ray, and I used to have this film on VHS back in 2015 as well. This is a Columbia TriStar Home Entertainment release and an Amblin Entertainment film from 2002. which is when this DVD was also released, I think. There's disc 1 and there's disc 2, which is the bonus disc. Next one is Anchorman 2, The Legend Continues, on Paramount. The film's from 2013, but the DVD is from 2014. I've also got this film on Blu-ray in a double box set alongside the original Anchorman called The Legend of Ron Burgundy, which I also used to have on DVD back in 2015. I actually got the DVD of Anchorman 1 5 years ago on Christmas 2015, so that was 5 years ago. This is also not for rental. Back when Paramount was still using the not for rental sticker on its disc. On its cases, and there's the disc itself. Next one is King Arthur Legend of the Sword, from Guy Ritchie, director of Sherlock Holmes, with Charlie Hunnam and Jude Law. This is a Warner Brothers Home Entertainment release and a Village Pictures film from 2017. And there's the disc itself. It's rated 15. The DVD is rated 15 in the UK, but rated 12 in Ireland. The film was originally rated 12A when it was originally theatrically released in May 2017, but when it was released on DVD, Blu-ray, and also 4K and 3D Blu-ray in September 2017, it was rated 15. Most likely due to special features. Next one is The Longest Yard, the 2005 version, with Adam Sandler and Chris Rock. It's the prisoners versus the guards. This is their chance to fight back. Sony Pictures Home Entertainment release from 2006. Co-production between Columbia, Paramount, MTV and Happy Madison. Fun fact, as you probably know, this film also stars Burt Reynolds, who was in the original Longest Yard from 1974. He was also in this one, so that's very coincidental. It's quite coincidental. Another remake I can think of where the actor was in the original and in the remake is The Lion King, where I think that James Earl Jones starred as Mufasa in the 1994 version and also in the remake that came out last year in 2019. Probably for the nostalgia purposes. Anyway, I think The Longest Yard 2005 was rated 12A theatrically, but rated 15 on home media. On DVD over here in the UK. That's what I mean by home media. And there's the disc itself. Next one is Mission Impossible, the 1996 film, the original 1996 film that has spawned into the very successful franchise for Paramount, starring Tom Cruise. This is as I mentioned, this is released from Paramount. The DVD was released in 2000, but the film was released back in 1996. This was probably released on DVD around the same time as Mission Impossible 2, because that came out in 2000 as well. And there's the disc itself. Next one is Animal Farm, the 1999 version. I've seen this film before and I thought it was quite good. I've actually seen it a few times because I watched it when I was in high school, and I've watched it a few times afterwards. It's a really good version. Again, I know there's also the animated version by Alice and Bachelor from 1954. I haven't bought it or watched it yet, but it's one that I might consider buying in the future. I mean, I've seen bits of it and it looks quite good. But I think I enjoy this one quite more because I've seen it a bit more. But I think I enjoy this one more because I've seen it a bit more. But I might try and buy the animated version at a later point. I'll just see. Anyway, this is a Hollywood DVD release from 2001. There's the disc itself. Next one is Ocean's 11, which is a film that I used to have on VH. Another film I used to have on VH, which is a film I used to have on VHS back in 2015. A lot of these films that I've got in this update, in terms of the DVDs from high school, are ones that I used to have on VHS back in around 2015, because that's when I used to collect VHS tapes a lot. Anyway, this is the 2001 version of Ocean's 11, which was released in 2002 in the UK, theatrically and on home media. Warner Home Video release from, as I mentioned, 2002. Not for rental. This was when Warner Brothers actually started to use this, the not for rental thing. I think this might be one of the first releases to do so. And I think it was also one of the first Warner Home Video releases on VHS in the UK to have the Pirates Are Out to Get You adverts from the Federation Against Copyright Theft. And there's the disc itself. This is also a film from Village Roadshow Pictures and Jerry Weintraub Productions. Next one is The Amazing Spider-Man. This is the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man film from Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, released in 2012. And there's the disc itself. As I stated in my previous update, my brother has this as part of the 5-disc Spider-Man film box set, which also includes Spider-Man, which I got the DVD of it from high school in the previous update, which I showed, and also the box set includes Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 3, this film, and also Amazing Spider-Man 2. Anyway, as I mentioned, there's the disc itself. Next one is Wimbledon with Kirsten Dunst and Paul Bettany, from the makers of Notting Hill, Bridget Jones and Love Actually, which is known to you and me, which that's working title films, as we all know, as a lot of us know. At least that's what they're behind. Working title films are the makers of Notting Hill, Bridget Jones and Love Actually. This is a Universal release from 2005. As I mentioned, this is also a working title film. Co-produced by Studio Canal, because a lot of working title films back in the early to mid 2000s were co-produced by Studio Canal and Universal. The DVD's from 2005, the film itself is from 2004. It's got the Universal hologram and the not for rental thing, which Universal started using in 2003, and I really don't know. I don't think they're using the not for rental thing on their discs or Blu-rays anymore. I think they stopped a couple of years ago, but I can't remember when it was. Probably 2017 or 2018. I don't really know. But anyway, there's the disc itself. And I've also got another film from working title, Billy Elliot, the 2-disc special edition. I used to have the 2001 VHS of this from Universal and VVL back in 2015. But this is the 2-disc special edition, which was released by Universal in 2005. The film itself is from 2000. It was actually supposed to have the film was actually supposed to have a re-release in cinemas earlier this year in April, but however that plan was kind of cancelled due to the pandemic. And it's also got the not for rental thing there. This is a co-production between Working Title, as I've mentioned, Studio Canal, BBC Films, Tiger Aspect, and obviously Universal. The DVD, as I mentioned, is from 2005. And it's also got the Universal hologram as well. There's disc 1, and there's disc 2. Now onto the films that I've got for Christmas. The first one is Greed with Steve Coogan, David Mitchell, and Isla Fisher. The Devil is in the Retail from Sony Pictures Home Entertainment, released back in June of this year, I think. This is a co-production between Sony Pictures Classics, Revolution Films, and Film 4. Rental or resale, still being used by Sony to this day. I think they started using that kind of stuff in 2003, and they're still using it today. They're one of the only companies at the moment that are doing so. Although they may phase it out at a later point. And there's the disc itself, with the old age ratings on it. I think it was one of the last Sony Pictures releases to have the old age ratings, to have the 2002, 2003 age rating symbols on, before they moved to the new ones, starting with Fantasy Island, which was released in early July of this year. And the next one is one that I've been wanting to get for a while, Call of the Wild, based on the legendary family adventure starring Harrison Ford and the CGI animated and the computer animated dog. This is a release from 20th Century Studios, the newly renamed 20th Century Fox, after they were bought out by Disney last year. I think this is one of the last Disney distributed releases to have the old age rating symbol on it, even though Onward, the first one with the new age rating, came out just a few weeks before this, which I got a few months ago on 4K. And there's the disc itself. This is actually the first film to be released by 20th Century Studios. I know that Downhill was the first one to be released by Searchlight Pictures, although that doesn't have a Blu-ray release or a DVD release over in this country. But I know it was released on DVD and Blu-ray in the United States, just not over here. But there's the disc for Call of the Wild. And the next one is Cats on Universal, co-production between Universal, Working Title, and Amblin. So we have a collaboration between Universal's former partners, which they've had over the years. Like, we have Amblin from the 1980s, that used to work with Universal a lot in the 1980s and 1990s. And then we have Working Title, which they got when they acquired Polygram in 1999, and it was popular with them throughout the 2000s and 2010s, and still continues to be popular with them to this day. This is also another one of the last releases to use these age ratings before they move to the new ones in June this year. I think the first Universal release to have the new age ratings on was Emma, which was released on June 22nd. This was released on June the 1st. This film's rated U in the UK and PG in Ireland. Next one is Wonder Park with Jennifer Garner, Matthew Broderick, John Oliver, and Mila Kunis. This is a film that I've been wanting to get for a while. It's a Paramount release from last year, 2019. This is a co-production between Paramount Animation and Nickelodeon Movies. And there's the disc itself. Next one is The Witches, with Anne Hathaway, Octavia Spencer and Stanley Tucci. 5 stars according to Daily Mail. This is the new version that was released on HBO Max in the United States back in October, and also had a VOD release back in October in this country. Warner Brothers Home Entertainment release from this year, and also with the new age ratings and the new Warner Brothers logo. This is the one that's directed by Robert Zemeckis, which he's the director behind things like Back to the Future, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and The Polar Express, and also Mars Needs Moms. And there's also no hole in the over this side of the slipcover, which is something that Warner Brothers might do in the future. I think they might have. And they've also got a new style case, which I think they've done the same thing for Tenet as well. So this might be a new thing they do with their films in the future. I might have to get more of these. I might have to get more titles from Warner Brothers in the future to see what they're like. But we'll see what happens. But I think this might be a new trend for them. And there's the disc itself. By the way, on the newer Blu-rays, the British and Irish rating retain their original colours instead of having their colours changed to fit in with the disc like they used to. I think this is something that Paramount has done as well with some of their new releases of the new age ratings on. I know they've done it for Sonic because my brother bought the Blu-ray for it the 4K Blu-ray for it earlier this year. And the next one is Up, which is the 10th film to be released by Pixar from 2009, with the 2015 slipcover. The disc itself is from 2010, though. So here's the original cover. And there's the original disc. From the creators of Finding Nemo and Monsters, Inc., which is obviously Pixar. Next one is Scoob, which was originally supposed to be a comeback of Hanna-Barbera, and it is. It was originally supposed to set a Hanna-Barbera cinematic universe, but it failed to do so, apparently. Warner Brothers Home Entertainment released from, I think it was September that they released it, September 28th. I'm sure it was released at that point. This is also another film from Warner Animation Group. I've got almost all of the Warner Animation Group films now. I just need to get Storks, and then I would have all of them. I don't know if I'll buy it yet, but I'll see. Warner Animation Group's next film is the Tom and Jerry live-action animation hybrid film, which is supposed to come out in March next year in this country. Comes out in February in the US. And I know that, from watching Ryan the Movie Fan's videos, I know that the Tom and Jerry film is his most anticipated film of next year. And there's a disc for Scoob, which has the same disc style as The Witches and all of Warner Brothers' recent titles with the new age ratings on. And by the way, when Warner Brothers starts distributing the Universal titles next year, I think they'll do the same thing for them. I actually had a dream last night where the Universal titles were distributed by Warner Brothers, and I actually saw that they had a similar disc style to the disc and case style to the Warner Brothers home media titles, the Warner Brothers DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4K Blu-rays. And I think that probably will be the case, but we'll just have to wait and see next year. They mentioned that they'll start doing them in the first quarter of next year, which means that we could get them anywhere, which means that we could get them by the time we reach summer next year. That's the time we could see a decent amount of them. I guess if things don't get better with the COVID-19 pandemic, at least there might be some back catalogue titles from them, and they could be like the big blockbuster event of next year, seeing Warner Brothers distribute Universal titles in this country, and seeing what the artwork style is like. Speaking of Universal, I've also got one of their releases, Trolls World Tour. The 3D Blu-ray and the standard Blu-ray includes Dance Party Edition, much like the first one, which I got in April 2017, and I still have in the Blu-ray collection to this day. Includes exclusive original short, Tiny Diamond Goes Back to School. As I mentioned, it's a Universal release, but for some strange reason, they've included the Universal logo on the spine rather than adding the DreamWorks logo, which is something that which usually when Universal release a DreamWorks title on home media, they tend to put the DreamWorks logo there and not the Universal one, which is kind of strange, actually. But I guess after that, I guess they're trying to say that this film is made by Universal when people look at the spine because of what happened with them earlier this year when they released it on video on demand, and the companies were labelling them as the people responsible, and if they're the distributor, then they are responsible. But as with all the other DreamWorks films that they've released on home media, like the re-releases and also some of the more recent ones, like How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World, and Abominable, they all have the DreamWorks logo on the spine. But for some reason, Trolls World Tour doesn't have that on the spine, unless you count the small one right over there. And it's also got the new age ratings on as well. However, it does have the DreamWorks logo on the back, but they just don't have it over there, which is really strange. I wonder if they'll get that right when they release The Croods: A New Age. If they do release it anytime soon, theatrically and on home media in this country. But we'll just have to wait and see. There's the standard Blu-ray disc and there's the 3D Blu-ray disc. The next one is Playmobil the movie, which I know a lot of people didn't like this film, but I liked it. I enjoyed it, so I decided to get it for Christmas because I thought the film was quite enjoyable when I saw it in August last year. I know it's a rip-off of the Lego Movie, but still enjoyable to watch. I haven't watched the Lego Movie 2 yet, but it's one that I might get around to watching in the future. Because we've already got the Lego Movie 2 on 4K, so I might give it a watch in the future. Anyway, this is a Studio Canal release from last year, 2019. And I know how much of a flop this was at the box office, but still enjoyed it. Still enjoy it. And there's the disc itself. Another Studio Canal film that I saw last year, which was Shaun the Sheep Farmageddon, is another film that I'm thinking of buying in the future. I might either buy it on DVD, Blu-ray, or even 4K Blu-ray, which might be a really good format for Aardman films, because it'll be interesting to see what their style of stop-motion animation is like on 4K Blu-ray, so I might look out for some of those in the future. And the next one is Dolittle, another film that I enjoyed, but other people didn't seem to really enjoy it. But I still enjoyed this film. It was really good. This is a Universal release. This is one of the last ones from Universal to have the older age rating before they switched to the new age ratings, because this was released on June 15th, whereas Emma, the first one with the new age ratings from Universal, new age ratings from the BBFC to be used by Universal, was released the week after this. It was released a week after this. And there's the disc itself. As I said, I really enjoyed this film when I saw it back in February, and I might give this film another watch again in the future. As I said, the Dolittle film with Robert Downey Jr. is a bit different to the ones with Eddie Murphy in, but it's still a really enjoyable film if you like adventure films and if you like the kind of films that Joe Roth produced, like the Alice in Wonderland films. If you enjoy those kinds of films, then you'll probably if you like live action adventure films that are PG rated, that have the PG rating and are meant for families, then you'll probably enjoy this film. Then you'll probably enjoy Dolittle. Next one is A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood with Tom Hanks on Sony Pictures. This is a film that is produced by TriStar Pictures, Tencent Pictures, a Chinese investor company that often works with Paramount and Sony, and also co-produced by Big Beach Films. Once again, it has the rental or resale thing that is still being used currently by Sony Pictures. And there's the disc itself. And the final one I've got to show in this update is Brave. Another one of the Pixar slipcovers. This is actually the 13th film to be released by Pixar, and it was released in 2012. I used to have this film on DVD, and I still have it, but I'm going to keep both the Blu-ray and DVD of it, because that's what I like to do with a lot of my films, so that I can look between different openings and stuff and compare them to each other and enjoy, because I really do enjoy watching openings as well as watching some of the films. The slipcover's from, I think, 2015, but the Blu-ray itself is from 2012. And there's the disc itself. So I've got almost all of the Pixar films on Blu-ray now. I just need to get Inside Out on Blu-ray, and then I'll have the whole collection. Well, until Soul comes out on Blu-ray and 4K at some point, which, if it does come out, it'll likely be, which it most likely will, looking at the fact that, considering the fact that the Mulan remake came out on 4K, I think that they might release Pixar Soul on 4K at a later point. So if and when it does come out on Blu-ray and 4K, it'll be either me or my brother who gets it. So that's it for this update. I'm hoping to include the next part of my Christmas presents in another update in the next few days. I'm hoping to do the next part in the next few days. So that's it for this update, and stay tuned for more videos coming soon.